Odofo we breaking news kesi abetodwa a meso beje ni nyina brew e wo Ghanatube. Odofo mamonim say Tamale by elections no ehihye corner ho a enche ebeba so na mamonim say NPP fo no oma withdraw say enya ade a ombe contest e wo Tamale Central na disi amena okasan ejeebo eja enya ba bedu NDC fo bakoyo mo primaries eyi omo leader oba represent omo e wo Tamale Central na disi amena okasan no other political parties ni nyina so oma withdraw omo si omo contest e wo Tamale Central orofo other political parties ni nyina including NPP for mu nyina oma withdraw say nya ade obe contest eye Tamale Central seat no tinu disi ano Electoral Commissioner ba bonte the 10 days grace period aba beto say sa 10 days we no political party bia ansa ntwini anase wan twini tibia so obe contest e wo Tamale Central dia and the NDC for ena chese Tamale Central no ebeye omu seat odofo when e breaking news abetodwa me so beji ni nyina bro e Ghanatube manko ne akwaji sanse mu nyina nchi mu e Ghanatube ma isia
to those big stories tonight. Last minute call. If you're interested in the run-in for MP in the Tamale Central constituency, now may be a good time to file your interest. Now stay with me, I'll explain. "10 days. That's what the law says, and that is for how long the Electoral Commission is extending the nomination period ahead of the Tamale Central by-election at the end of this month. Now, that means aspirants now have from today till September 21st to register their interest in the race. Now, remember, the NPP was first to announce it will not take part in the election out of respect for the deceased MP, and then only a couple of days ago, two contenders, the PNC and the LPG, also dropped out at the close of nomination. Now, the commission in a statement says, as a result of that, it is obliged to activate the 10-day grace period in accordance with Article 52 of the Ghanaian Constitution. It's also been saying a number of things. Let's go through what the Electoral Commission has been saying in that statement. Again, it quotes Article 52 of the 1992 Constitution, which says where two or more candidates are nominated at the close of nomination, but before the election day, only one candidate stands nominated, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination of other candidates, and it shall not be lawful for any person nominated within that 10-day period to withdraw his or her nomination. Now, the statement also goes on to say that in line with the same dictate of the Constitution, the Commission will reopen nominations for 10 days. The nomination will be received at the Tamale Metropolitan Office of the Commission from the 12th September to the 21st of September 2025 between the hours of 9 a.m. to 12 and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. each day. So that's the information you need to know when it comes to the latest development with regards to the Tamale Central by-election. Remember, the NDC already has its candidate in the person of Professor Alidu Muhammad Saidu. And again, by the way, I have a conversation with him this Sunday on Hot Issues. You want to learn more about the academic now transitioning front and center, political life. We find out what his campaign is. Let me not digress. I'll tell you more about it in the tad. So let's come back, right? Rein myself into the conversation of this minute. Joining me now is Tanko Rashid Computer, the NDC's Deputy Director of IT and Elections. In the tad, we'll also be joined by the PNC's chairperson. I mean, now that there's a 10-day grace period, is there a possibility for a mind change at all? But let's start off with the NDC, right? Tanko, good evening, and thank you so much for talking to us this evening. How does this come to you?
Let me say good evening to you, Kamini, and your cherished viewers across Ghana. Well, we are not surprised at all because it's within the law. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we as a political party will be calling for reforms in the CI 127. Of course, there is a need to have some reforms, amendment to some of the regulations to come in terms with the constitutional dictates. I mean, we knew of this all along, that clearly at the close of nomination, if only one person files, clearly they would have the option of opening for additional 10 days. I mean, this was meant to cure the issue of candidates filing and dying. I mean, if you look at the enabling regulation under regulation 13, reading from 10, 11, 12, 13, that is where you will get to know the brain behind it was to make room for candidates who filed and died. And then that would have meant that the political party will not have any candidate to put in if that clause was not put out there. But if you go further and look at regulation 13, it's rather talking of if they even withdraw and the election, a day to the election, you still have one candidate, then that means that they still have to open for another 10 days. That is what the law is saying. But clearly, yes, that's what the law said. But clearly, what it meant is that within these 10 days, if nobody files again, then our candidates stand elected as unopposed candidate on the D-Day. That is what it meant. So we are not perturbed. We do know that the good people of Tamale want to honor the legacy and then the late MP, Honorable Alidu, Dr. Mutala. I mean, they want to honor him by allowing the NDC to go solo. That is why the two other political parties withdrew their candidate. Indeed, even some other parties wanted to contest, but they got in touch with us and asked that they were not going to do that.
I see. So Tanko, are you telling me that the PNC and LPG had mentioned to you that they were withdrawing last minute, in respects of Honorable Mutala?
Well, we saw their right. If you saw their letters, the two letters, clearly they indicated it was to allow the NDC and our late MP, so that it's just in honor of our late MP. They did very well. We thank them for that. I mean, especially the LPG and that of the PNC. We thank them. They did well. I mean, we are together in this. We also extend similar courtesies to our main opponent, the MPP, for not coming in. Of course, they knew if they come in, they are going to lose. Well, I mean, that is it. I know that it's just formality.
But I mean, do you see, Tanko? Do you see any new contenders over this 10-day period?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we have any new person coming in here. I mean, of what purpose would that person be coming? That is why we are saying we will call for amendment to that portion of the regulation, because it's like there's some lacuna there that, well, if nobody files at the close of nomination and one person filed. I remember in 1992, we had similar things. A lot of people didn't file for when the NPP boycotted the 92 parliamentary elections. A lot of people didn't file. So most of our candidates went unopposed. That aspect was not invoked. So this is now coming up. That is why the Constitutional Amendment Committee is going through. These are some of the things we want them to take note of. Look, in an event we go into file, and then only one person filed. That means people have trust in that candidate, and therefore there's no need for worrying them opening another nomination for others. It's like you are just pepping up people. Come. We are forcing people to come when they are not interested. That is what it's trying to do. So we need to do something about that regulation to cure that lacuna. And then we can move on.
And you think that regulation is problematic at this point, is it?
Yes. The regulation is problematic because right now, two people filed in addition to our candidate. Generously, they decided to withdraw. They withdrew their nominations and thanked the good people. So, that means that clearly they have confidence in our candidate. The good people of Tamale have confidence in our candidates, and that's why you should have just gone, so that by 30th we will just do the declaration and then we move on. But because of what the regulations have stated, and they cannot violate that regulation. Because clearly, if you look at Regulation 22 and Regulation 12 of CI 127, it's talking of unopposed candidates because he's the only sole candidate. But when you come down to 13, Regulation 13, that's where the problem is. The problem is talking at that the close of this, even if people will do, they need to open additional 10 days. And so that we need to cure that so that we don't necessarily burden the process of getting an unopposed candidate declared, because clearly I know that nobody is going to come out to contest or pick nomination within this 10 period. It's just to waste everybody's time. But I know for the NDC, we are very sure of that. We are very sure of our candidate.
I see, Tanko, just quickly, let's talk about your candidate. Professor Alidu Seidu would call, as far as mainstream politics is concerned, a novice. Why does the party choose him?
Well, I would not describe him as a novice. This is a political science lecturer. He's been a lecturer for a very long time at the university at that higher level, becoming a professor of political science and all that. You can't describe such a person a novice. I mean, he's grounded in the field of politics. I mean, the delegates decided on him. We didn't pick him. It wasn't the leadership of the party that decided to put him on them. That is why we opened nomination, and we gave them level playing ground for all of them. And then the constituency decided that he should be represent them in the primaries that was held. So clearly, such a person cannot be described as a novice. And clearly, he's been doing a job. If you look at his profile, you get to understand that some of the parliamentary training, normally when new MPs come in, he's one of the consultants who has been helping them, a parliament in training the new entrants to parliament and all that. So he's done a lot of work. He's not a novice. It's just that is why I'm saying that some of the people behind the scene, especially the academia, most of them then come in the forefront in the political land. They don't come forefront. So a lot of people don't know them. It is when they decide to now come take the front banner, then that is where people think that these are novices and all that. But they are doing a lot of job behind the scene. It might not be the normal forefront politician like some of us been in the forefront always, but behind the scene they have been doing a lot of job. We have a lot of them. I have a lot of them on my list. A lot of people in academia, people in health, the legal profession, a good number of them. The day that we try to bring them in the forefront, then this story of them being novices and all that. But I can assure you, he's well grounded. He's lectured in the field of political science. He's done it practically. I remember in 2020, he was one of our consultants in terms of trying to put the structure together. I remember very well. By that time, I was just a member of the directorate, and he was called severally to come and give pep talks on how to go about certain things. Although he didn't come clearly.
I see. So Prof has always been a member of your party, is it?
Yes, he's been there, just behind the scene. That's what I'm saying. We have a lot of them. People are there, they are members, but they are just behind the scene. You hardly see them. And so they don't come out publicly, and they won't indicate that they are your members. Like you won't see them wear your political colors and all that. There are. And I'm sure the good people of Tamale, when he went in there, I was monitoring from afar. I've been out of the country for some time now, and I was monitoring from afar. Clearly, I mean, he didn't find it easy. I was following on Facebook and your platform. He didn't find it easy in trying to convince the people in Tamale that he was the right person for them to pick him. That tells you that it is sometimes good to also come front once in a while. Whilst you are in the background, once in a while do come in the front so that the people there will get to know that you are part of them. Otherwise, you know, the number of people who came contesting him, they were all strong guys. If you look at the 11 people plus him, 12, they were strong, grounded party people on the ground. Very solid party members on the ground. So all of them were very much qualified, and any of them could have been elected. But you know, delegates with the way they do their things, until the ballot box is open and counted, you cannot tell. That's how delegates behave. I've been in this game. So I've never trusted it until announcement. I've never trusted any voting until an announcement is done that so
I see.
has been declared.
Tanko, hang on for me. I mean, like I was saying at the beginning of the story, that I sat down with the parliamentary candidate for the NDC in the Tamale Central constituency, Professor Alidu Muhammad Saidu. We had a conversation about his campaign and transition from academia to politics. Here's a quick look at that interview. You had an appointment as executive secretary. We've also known you for academia. Then out of the blue, there you are, NDC parliamentary primary. What was the motivation?
The first was the fact that I was born and raised in that constituency, in Salamba, and I have lived with the challenges of the people. So I understand what I went through growing up, going to school, and what our parents went through, raising us, paying fees, and getting us enrolled and going to the highest level. And whenever I go to that constituency, I still see that there's vestiges of some of these things that we went through. So there have been that level of commitment to enhance the welfare and the well-being of the citizenry, largely from the constituency. And I have been doing that even in my own right as a lecturer. I have made a lot of contributions just to make sure that we make change. So the first was driven by largely the motivation to make change at where you grew up, where you started your whole life. The second was largely the relationship that existed between me and then the former member of parliament, sorry, the late member of parliament. He did his PhD at the Department of Political Science.
Right.
And I was part of the supervisory committee, myself, Professor Ransford Jampo, and Professor Emmanuel Deborah, who supervises. Actually, Professor Achwayi was the lead supervisor until Professor Achwayi finished his post-retirement contract and said he was tired and he wanted to take a rest. So we reconstituted the committee, and I was part of the committee. So I was very close to him, and he would often discuss some of the proposals and vision that he has for the constituency. And sometimes he always referred to me as his junior brother, and that's true. So sometimes he will ask me for advice or my perspective about some of the policies and visions that he was trying to bring to the constituency.
Catch the full interview this Sunday at 1:30 p.m. here on TV.
Order for when a breaking news if Electoral Commission for you see in Kofu Mienu candidates for Mienu are withdraw from Tamale Central by-elections. No, to the four Osha NDC for and on baby gainy back that particular seat now said the other four way and a breaking news about to jam should beginning now, bro. I will Ghana to my if you say mobile like no subscribe no my share no my notification button so my send a bear. I bring you a BB adopted content see ya woo when you need pan watch me for aha. And I'm in 7 NBC or Ghanatube so. Macramunina, Bedamunina Sibri.